everybody, it's Maria, and today I wanted to talk to you about what we're doing at home with our homeschool. And I know a lot of times February gets kind of for any teacher or any household. It feels like it's been a weird weather winter for us. We haven't really had any snow, but it's still been kind of cold, and it's back and forth. One day you're in shorts, one day you're not. I don't know what's going on. So I've been trying to make our home life as happy and I don't know, full of togetherness as possible, while also enjoying learning. And I think that's ultimately the goal. I've really enjoyed kind of the approach that I've been taking. I've been watching a lot of Julie Bogart and listening to some of her podcasts, as well as the Homeschool Sisters podcast, which has really just reinforced the idea of gaming and creating and reading and enjoying learning together as kind of the spine of your homeschool. So that's, with that said, I mean, any of this stuff I think would be fun whether you're homeschooling or not. So I wanted to share some of that. For math, my boys have been working on multiplication and just kind of getting better with their facts. So we've done a couple different things. There's definitely some math games you can do. We have a sequence math. This game, actually, my husband and I like playing. It's a 2-player game. So if you want, you can do it in teams, or you can just do it as a 2-player thing. It's called Lost Cities. It's probably around $15 to $20, and it helps you with sorting out colors. So you're trying to figure out how many expeditions you can afford to stretch your resources over. Every time you start a new expedition, you lose 20 points. So you need to make sure that you can make that up. So you're kind of doing risk assessment skills. At the end, you have to do a lot of adding, subtracting, and multiplying to figure out what your scores are. And that's kind of the fun part. This game is so addictive, and it's great if you want a 2-player game. I mean, just really, really fun. My husband's kind of getting tired of playing with me because I just want to play all the time. So we've been doing that. Another thing that I've been doing for math, I actually got from my workout class. So we have several dice around our house. And what I've been having my children do is we assign for each number roll on the dice, a different exercise. So they have to roll the dice the first time to figure out which exercise they're going to have me do or themselves. But it's more fun to have mom work out and do it. And honestly, I've been getting a great workout from it. My thighs are so sore after Thursday's workout. So then they roll the dice the second time to figure out what they're going to multiply those 2 numbers by. And they have to tell me then how many repetitions of whatever exercise to do. So this is great if you want to work out together as a family, if you are trying to figure out how to kind of strengthen some of your bonds. There's nothing a kid likes better than to tell somebody what to do. So when I tell them that they're my trainer and they have to do it, they don't think of it as math practice. They think of it as like a fun thing that they get to do with mom. So that's another thing we've been doing fun for math outside of just our regular book activities. I've just been having a blast with it. Another thing that we've been working on, continuing on with, you all know how much we love Midsummer Night's Dream in our house, to the point where yesterday, book buying day, my toddler saw Midsummer Night's Dream with the DVD version cover of it with Michelle Pfeiffer and Stanley Tucci on it. And she got so excited. I'm like, oh, it's funny when a 2-year-old wants to hold Midsummer Night's Dream around the bookstore with you. So my husband and I actually at the end of the month are going to go see the Complete Works of Shakespeare Abridged, which I'm really excited about. So I thought it would be a fun time to do a refresher. Shakespeare's birthday is coming up in April, so I also wanted to kind of lead into that with my kids. So this I've recommended before. This is a great version of different Shakespeare stories. I think there's 15 of them. They have some simple illustrations, line drawings. They do include a couple of the quotes from there. I like at the beginning they have a cast of characters, so you know going in what everybody looks like and who they are, what their relationships are to each other, especially since Shakespeare likes to play around with those a lot. It's great. We've been picking these up, and then as well as some illustrated versions from the library or from our own collection, reading through them, and then getting a DVD of a production. So next we're doing Twelfth Night. I just picked up. We've read through a couple versions, and next week we're going to watch the DVD of it, and I'm really excited. I also had to show you this. I found Midsummer Night's Dream, a fairies primer that at the library, so I had to bring that home for Little Miss because she's just over the moon for Puck. And then I picked this up for myself just because I thought there's nothing better than when your kid sees you reading something, they ask what you're reading and you can talk about it with them and they have some sort of understanding. So it's kind of cool because then I can just say, oh, did you know this? And they're learning something and they just think of it as regular life, which honestly, that's what learning is. So Bill Bryson's always a really fun writer. And I think this one's illustrated too. So I can kind of share some of that. Another thing we've been working on reading aloud is the Harry Potter Illustrated Edition. We're about halfway through and I'm just really loving cuddling up with my boys and reading a story that we love so much. So it's just perfection. When you're having the worst day or you don't know how to reframe the next thing, you just pick up and start reading. Don't even talk about it, just do it. Another thing that we've been working on is for nature studies. I had them look through the seed catalog and cut out their favorite things that they wanted to get. And I did not promise them that we would purchase all of these, but I told them our climate zone area to look for and to make a list. And so copy work one day was just copying down the things that they wanted out of the seed catalog. And I think it was kind of a cool thing for them to learn about zones. They got to kind of experiment with what they wanted as well as practice their copy work. So another thing that we're doing for history geography is working on learning the presidents and the states and capitals. So the first thing I wanted to show you is a resource. Little Passports also does a worldwide edition, which we did for years, but the state edition is for slightly older kids. And you get this little envelope and inside they have an activity book that features 2 different states. So this one has New York and Texas. And different activities to do in there, as well as like a punch out thing that they get to put together from that particular state. So we've been kind of working on those slowly, as well as reading through some state books. I want to have them make their own little state book with a picture, just the name of the state and the capital. And if they want to tell me something that they learned, I can write that down for them. And then at the end of probably 2017, not the school year, they'll have kind of a fun little book to look through. So that's another thing we're working on. The Scrambled States game is another fun one that we've been kind of reinforcing things with, as well as putting together this puzzle. So yeah, I think anytime you can incorporate games and art and just kind of layering the education, the more connections you have. We also have this Presidents of the United States puzzle, as well as a presidential rummy game, which I could not find anywhere, that we've been working on to kind of just reinforce that memorization. And one of the other things we were working on, there's 2 more things left I want to show you. We picked up just these little greenhouse kit things and I had them pick out some seeds. And so regardless of how good or not the planting goes, it doesn't matter. They can help document their progress. They can measure how big things are getting or not getting. And I think it's just kind of a great way to give them ownership over this next fun part of the season, which is, you know, spring and what that looks like. Maybe they'll become better gardeners than I am because I have the blackest thumb ever. And the last, but most, well, one of the most fun things that we're doing right now in our homeschool is Hamilton. My husband and I have tickets this summer to go see it. So I've been listening to the soundtrack almost every day, at least parts of it. And I got this idea from Homeschool Sisters podcast. My kids like listening to the soundtrack, and so I've had them read along, and we read together and just kind of try and keep up, which some of the songs are pretty fast, so it can get kind of funny and tongue twistery, but it's been really fun for them to kind of get more familiar with not only the history and the lyrics, they're always noticing little different things each day, but they can kind of practice their reading fluency as well, while getting to see some really cool artistic, cultural, and historical elements. So I think that's just a really fun thing. So that is what we are doing currently outside of our regular schoolwork for homeschool. And again, I don't ever want you to feel like this is the best way to do it or any of that stuff. I think for us, it's just been really cool to do a little bit every day. And that's just That's just the standard. It's a little bit every day, and by the end of the year, you'll have done more than you thought you could. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.